In Hollywood, when things get hard, most people walk away. But as Jay Leno's wife, Mavis, slowly loses her memory to advanced dementia, Jay is doing the one thing no one expected. And it's not just about the vows he made 44 years ago. We are so used to seeing celebrity marriages end over the slightest disagreement, or crumble under the weight of fame, fortune, and temptation. Yet, here is one of the most famous men in television history. A man with a net worth of nearly $500 million, choosing a path of profound quiet and ultimate sacrifice. Why would a legendary comedian, famous for his relentless work ethic and his massive collection of exotic cars, suddenly slow down his life to become a full-time caregiver? The answer takes us deep into a side of Jay Leno the public has never seen, revealing a powerful lesson about what it truly means to love someone when the spotlight fades. To understand why Jay will never abandon Mavis, we have to go back to where it all began. The year was 1976. Jay was a struggling stand-up comedian performing at the iconic Comedy Store in Los Angeles. Mavis Nicholson was an incredibly intelligent, passionate woman who had zero interest in the typical Hollywood lifestyle. She was an activist, a voracious reader of history, and a woman of deep social conscience. When they met, the chemistry was instant, but their connection was built on something far deeper than mere physical attraction. Mavis has admitted that she originally had no intention of ever getting married. She viewed marriage as a traditional trap that restricted women's freedom and potential. But Jay changed her mind through his sheer reliability, his humility, and his complete lack of pretense. They married in 1980, and early on they made a deliberate choice that would define their entire relationship. They decided not to have children. This meant their marriage was never about building a traditional family unit. It was entirely about each other. For over 4 decades, Mavis was not just Jay's wife. She was his anchor, his moral compass, and his escape from the superficial world of show business. While Jay was hosting The Tonight Show, bringing laughter to millions of homes every night, Mavis was working behind the scenes as a leading voice for global women's rights, famously fighting against gender apartheid in Afghanistan and directly influencing United States foreign policy. She was a powerhouse in her own right. Jay always said he married his conscience, choosing a woman he deeply respected and wished he could be more like. But then, decades later, the unthinkable happened. The brilliant, articulate woman who had spent her life advocating for others began to lose her grip on her own mind. When Mavis was diagnosed with advanced dementia, Jay's world underwent a dramatic, silent shift. For decades, the public knew Jay Leno as the ultimate high-energy enthusiast. He's a man who owns over 180 cars and 160 motorcycles, a collection worth upwards of $100 million. He is a master mechanic who spends his free time in a massive garage, dismantling complex engines, finding broken parts, and meticulously putting them back together. In Jay's world, if something is broken, you roll up your sleeves and you fix it. But dementia is a completely different kind of adversary. It is a progressive, degenerative disease that cannot be repaired with a wrench or a new part. It slowly chips away at a person's cognitive function, their memory, and eventually, their identity. The neurologist's reports presented to the court painted a devastating picture. Mavis was experiencing severe disorientation, struggling with her short-term memory, and at times did not even know her own date of birth or who her husband was. Imagine the psychological toll of looking into the eyes of the person you have loved for 44 years, the person who has been your entire world, only to realize they are looking back at a stranger. For a man who has spent his life making people laugh and solving mechanical problems, this represents the ultimate feeling of powerlessness. Yet, instead of retreating into his work or hiring a team of strangers to manage the tragedy away, Jay stepped forward. This is where the psychological concept of the halo effect comes into play. We expect a high-energy, wealthy comedian to maintain a glossy, detached existence. But Jay's vulnerability as a caregiver completely shatters that public persona, replacing it with a quiet, undeniable integrity. But then, in early 2024, the news broke that sent shockwaves through the media. Court documents revealed that Jay Leno had filed for a conservatorship over his wife. Immediately, the internet erupted. People associated the word conservatorship with high-profile battles of control, exploitation, and greed. much like the infamous cases of Britney Spears or Wendy Williams. Speculation ran wild. Was Jay trying to lock his wife away? Was he trying to seize control of her estimated $225 million share of their estate? The truth behind his legal filing was actually a devastating, heart-wrenching twist that no one saw coming, and it had everything to do with a terrifying reality Jay was keeping secret. The reality was that Jay wasn't trying to control Mavis. He was desperately trying to protect her from his own mortality. In the years leading up to the filing, Jay had experienced a series of terrifying, near-fatal accidents. He suffered serious third-degree burns to his face and hands after a gasoline fire erupted in his garage, requiring multiple surgeries and skin grafts. Just a few months later, he was knocked off his motorcycle, breaking his collarbone and multiple ribs. These brushes with death forced Jay to confront a terrifying question: what happens to Mavis if I die first? Because they had no children, Mavis had no immediate family to step in and manage her complex care. If Jay were to pass away suddenly, Mavis's advanced dementia would leave her completely defenseless, unable to navigate the legalities of their estate or secure the specialized medical attention she required. Because California is a community property state, Mavis technically owned half of everything, but without a living trust or proper estate planning in place before her cognitive decline, Jay could not legally execute estate planning documents on her behalf. The conservatorship was not an act of control, it was a preemptive shield. Jay petitioned the court specifically so he could establish a living trust and ensure that her care would be legally locked in and protected forever, regardless of what happened to him. The court-appointed attorney for Mavis noted that during the proceedings, Mavis was in agreement, describing Jay as an incredibly loving husband who was taking excellent care of her. In a world where legal battles in celebrity circles are usually fought out of greed, Jay used the court system to perform a profound act of legal guardianship, ensuring his wife's safety long after he might be gone. This level of devotion highlights a psychological concept known as ambiguous loss. This is the unique and painful form of grief experienced when a loved one is still physically present, but psychologically absent. It is incredibly difficult for spouses to endure, often leading to high rates of depression, anxiety, and eventual abandonment. Many partners choose to place their spouses in long-term care facilities and slowly distance themselves, unable to handle the daily emotional pain of being forgotten. But Jay has chosen a different path. He has integrated her care into his daily life. When asked about his routine, Jay has spoken about how his life has changed, explaining that he is focused entirely on keeping her comfortable, safe, and happy. He still takes her to events, holds her hand, and ensures she feels surrounded by love. He doesn't treat her condition as an embarrassment or a burden to be hidden away. Instead, he treats her with the exact same dignity she possessed when she was fighting for women's rights on the global stage. This is the ultimate application of his original marriage advice: to marry your conscience. Because he built his love on a foundation of profound respect for who Mavis is as a person, his commitment to her is not dependent on her ability to remember his name. He loves her for the soul she has always had. Compare this to the standard Hollywood narrative. We routinely see celebrity marriages dissolve at the first sign of inconvenience. In show business, youth, beauty, and utility are often valued above all else. When a spouse becomes ill, the demanding nature of fame often pushes the healthy partner to seek an exit, hiring nurses to do the work while they continue to live their lives in the spotlight. But Jay's actions stand in stark, beautiful contrast to this norm. And this isn't just a Hollywood phenomenon, it's a human one. Statistical research shows that caregiving for a spouse with dementia is one of the most stressful experiences a person can go through. In fact, studies show that up to 40% of family caregivers of dementia patients actually pass away before the patient does, due to the intense physical and emotional toll of the role. Jay is fully aware of these stakes. He is in his mid-70s, managing his own health recovery, yet he refuses to step back. His actions show that real loyalty is not a feeling that comes and goes. It is a daily, active choice to honor a lifelong promise. Even when she experiences periods of disorientation, Jay uses humor, the very thing that brought them together in that comedy club in 1976, to put her at ease and bring a sense of familiar safety to her world. Ultimately, Jay Leno's decision to stand by Mavis as she battles advanced dementia is a powerful reminder of what truly matters. In a life filled with some of the rarest, most expensive cars in the world and decades of applause from millions of fans, Jay has made it clear that none of those things compare to the value of a single human life. Cars can be restored. Fame is fleeting. But the integrity of keeping your word to the person you love is the only thing that genuinely lasts. He has redefined his legacy, showing that his greatest achievement isn't a television show or a garage full of steel and chrome. It is the quiet, fierce devotion he shows to his wife every single day. As we watch this story unfold, it challenges us to look at our own lives and ask what we truly value when everything else is stripped away. If you want to understand more about how deep-seated values can shape a person's entire life, click on the video on your screen right now, where we break down another incredible story of hidden integrity in the most unexpected places.